I can tell when it's been too long since I've spent a few days in the woods. The small stressors of daily life seem bigger, and the nagging thoughts about work and chores and errands just get louder. I needed a reset, and I knew a few days surrounded by nature's serene beauty would do the trick. morning. It's about 6:45, and I got jolted awake this morning by something hitting my hammock. I'm pretty sure it was a red squirrel because it's now yelling at me. Of course, in that moment of being woken up, your brain immediately goes to bear. It's a little chilly this morning. I'm not particularly anxious to get out of my warm, cozy hammock. I think I might hang out here for a little bit longer and have a nice, relaxing morning. And I really want to explore this camp. It got dark too quickly, and well, I should say I got here too late to be able to really explore it. Just had a nice campfire last night. Looking forward to some coffee and oatmeal this morning, though. Good morning. I'm calling this the official day one of my Dolly Sods backpacking trip. Yesterday, I just hiked in about a mile to Red Creek, and there are a few campsites along the creek here. I took the one that's pretty much the furthest back on the right, mostly just because it had a perfect hammock site. There's some at the first site, and there were a few in between us that just weren't quite right for hammocks. And this one worked out perfectly, and it's also kind of far away. A group of guys did come in after dark last night looking for a spot and kind of passed by, but the other side of the creek here is very rocky. The ground is very lumpy, bumpy from the pine roots that create that kind of soft ground. So they had to turn around. I thought maybe there's a campsite kind of right next to me. The creek splits, and I'm actually technically on like a little island right here. And on the other side of the creek, down below me, there's another campsite, but it doesn't look like anyone stayed there. All right, it's a little chilly this morning. I mean, it's probably in the 60s, but after yesterday being in the 90s, it feels chilly. I didn't realize until I got to camp. So when I was home packing everything up, I didn't realize that the bottle top of this bag was not with it or on it when I packed it up. So I just took the connection piece off the bottom of the hose, and I'm able to run the hose into the bag. And so I'm still able to filter water, but I just don't have any way to cap it. So I just put this on here upside down overnight so that nothing would crawl inside here. Water here's a little on the brown side. It's not exactly clear, but I'm going to use this mostly for eating and like mixing the stuff. I'll probably top off my pack water with a little bit of this, but right now my pack water is still mostly full, and it's from home. So it's nice, clean tap water. Make sure I have plenty for my oatmeal and my coffee. Sorry, definitely for my coffee. should do. All right, get the water boiling. I'm gonna use the bathroom and brush my teeth. Might start breaking down camp if the water's not quite ready, but it probably will be by then. This thing cooks pretty quick. Then eat some breakfast, break down camp, and get on the trail. Some oatmeal. Pre-mix my instant coffee with creamer and sugar so I can just scoop out what I need. You can probably tell from the color of this bag that I like it light and sweet. Especially when I'm hiking. I don't know, it's just very comforting to have that sweet creamy coffee in the morning. I really do. I started at the Bear Rock Trailhead. The area is pretty popular. They've started staffing a volunteer at the trailhead to help hikers pick their route, identify where some good campsites might be. You know, if they're looking for good photos, they'll tell them where the good spots are for that, and also warn them about any hazards along the trails. The original route that I picked, I did read some reports that it can be really muddy, but the volunteer at the trailhead said that in places the water and mud are over your knees because of some beaver dam activity in the area. It's kind of like a low-lying swampy area to begin with, and then because of the beavers, basically the whole trail is just a big muddy swamp at this point. So he did offer a solution to go around that. I think it might add a little mileage. I don't know. It seems like maybe about the same. You know, when I saw that it was like a little muddy, fine. I can handle a little mud. I don't mind getting my feet wet. I've learned, especially in July, like it's going to be in the almost 90 degrees today. So I don't mind getting my feet wet. I don't mind a little mud. But over your knees mud with, you know, a pack weighing over 30 pounds, trying to carry my camera, I just feel like that's probably a little more than I want to take on. I think we'll probably take the alternate route that he suggested. Sometimes I feel like in situations like that, my brain is like, yeah, but you're different. Everyone else goes around. You'll go through it because you're different. But I don't really feel like proving myself in that kind of way today or this weekend. I'm going to let this cool for just a minute or two before I put it in with my oatmeal. I did this on my last backpacking trip and I really liked this form factor. Alright, hopefully. So yeah, I don't want my water like boiling hot when I put it in the bag because I don't want it to melt the bag. So I'm just making sure that it's like, yeah, it's not too hot that I can't like stick my finger in it. So it should be good. I have a little bit of extra water if I need it. I'm just going to let this seal it back up and let it soak for a while. And then I can eat it right out of this bag and then keep this with my trash in my bag and no cleanup. I can just use my billy can for water, which is the goal for this trip so that I don't have to do dishes. I'm going to try to find a more scenic spot to eat breakfast. Do a little exploring. It's just after 9, and I'm hitting the trail. It's probably a good thing that bird or squirrel or whatever it was woke me up when it did. Sun's already out, starting to get warm. Just finished crossing the creek and back to the trail. We're starting off with a climb. Whew. We're supposed to get some thunderstorms here in the afternoon, so my goal is to find camp before that happens. So hopefully put in some good distance this morning. Having a hard time making progress. There's so many blueberries. I just want a snack. Looks like I ate them all here. Oh, just kidding. There's a couple right there. They're not very big, wild blueberries. But there's a lot of really dark ones which are nice and sweet. Yum. So I got the route for this trip off of, I think, Outbound. And unfortunately, it told me to go where there was no trail. May have been a social trail at one point, but there really wasn't much to see as far as a trail through the grassy field. And more importantly, I don't really feel comfortable using a social trail and not one that's been established by the wilderness area powers that be. So I had to do a little bit of backtracking. The backtracking took me, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But I'm not sure how long I was actually on the trail because I wasn't paying attention to the time. Now I'm on the right trail. It's almost noon, but plenty of time. And should be able to get an early camp. So freaking beautiful here though. Just these big wide open spaces, these big spruce trees, this beautiful sky with cotton candy clouds. Oh. That line on the hill, off in the distance, is a ski slope. That is Canaan Valley Ski Resort, and that is where my sister and I learned how to ski with our grandmother. Can't say I ever expected to be back in the same area. Very strange. Pretty cool. That breeze feels nice. Oh, it is hot. Dolly Sods, man. It is, I think, around 2:30, and I just got to the junction of Dobbins Grade, which means that I'm about 1.5 miles from where I want to camp tonight, according to the suggestion given to me by the volunteer at the trailhead. My original plan was to do all of Dobbins Grade, but I think I'm gonna cut over back to, I think it's Raven Ridge, back to kind of the main circle, because Dobbins Grade is apparently very, very muddy. I'm actually currently on a little upper side path to go around a wet part right now. So this could get tricky. We'll see. Wow. I was not expecting that. Maybe. Just got to camp, and it is a good one. Huge open pine forest, absolutely beautiful. It was tough to get to though. Dobbins Grade Trail, very gravelly, started to go kind of a steep decline, and sure enough landed right in a beaver pond. And all around the beaver pond is just muck. It's boggy. You step and it just squelches and your foot sinks down a few inches into the muck. Had to cross a beaver dam to cross the creek. And I wasn't really sure where the trail was. It turned left up into this field. I was like, well, this doesn't look very promising for finding hammock spots. And then it got to the edge of a pine forest and it turns left and right. I decided to turn left because I figured that would bring me a little closer to the creek. I don't know if it necessarily did, but I think I lucked out regardless because this spot is huge and amazing and beautiful. Just went to the creek and got a jug full of water. It's a little brown. Oh well. think I found my 2 trees. I'm not very far from the fire pit. A little bit further than I was last night, but still close enough that if I have a fire a little late, I won't be too creeped out walking back to my hammock. One thing I noticed, last night I set up my tarp backwards. I try to always remember that the green is on my right side, and so when I'm like when I'm in the hammock, green is on my right and red is on my left. And for some reason, I was like, this is my right, the green goes here, because I'm facing the opposite way, which is why they refer to it as bow and stern, but I'm not a boat person and I don't know what that means. I should. I mean, I guess it's the same in a canoe, so I should learn. I'm almost doing it again. So the red, I guess I could say red is right when you're wrong. I don't know. When I'm facing the wrong way, red is on my right. When I'm facing the right way, green is on my right. I don't know. Confusing myself. These trees are so sappy. They've got huge globs of sap. I don't know if you noticed, I got sap all over my sun shirt from another campsite that was like this. I love these pine forests because they're so open, but the sap does get on everything, and I'm going to get it all over my hands and probably on my clothes, and it's definitely on my tarp. If anybody has tips for getting rid of pine sap in clothes and other items, I would love to hear it. Bet you didn't think you'd be watching a hiking video giving laundry advice. I'm not giving it. I want you to give it. Please. My laundry advice to you is don't listen to me for laundry advice. I'm limping a little bit because I have a huge blister on one of my toes that I would like to dress and deal with, but walking through all that mud, my feet are like, I don't know what the right word. My feet are just soaked. My feet are like all wrinkly and shriveled. They're waterlogged. So I'm going to have to wait for my foot to dry out a little bit before I can treat it. So for now, I just have to try not to put too much pressure on it. I did not expect to have a problem of finding trees that were too close together. Whew, just barely. Just barely. It fits. Oh. I was going to try to have the front of my tarp up a little bit. That would require me to find a decent stick to use as a pole, and there's just not a lot of viable options for that around here unless I go on a more extensive scavenger hunt, which I'm not really interested in doing. I'd rather spend my time collecting wood that I can burn. So yeah, we're going to just pitch it on the ground, which is just fine.
this is where I'll be sleeping. It's about 20 feet from the fire pit, so hopefully I can get some firewood. And worst case, if it rains, I can book it over here. Before I get started on firewood, I'm gonna start soaking my dinner. I did not eat dinner last night. I just wasn't really hungry. I ate fast food on the drive, which I never do. My stomach wasn't upset, I just wasn't really hungry. But I am very hungry tonight. I raided the freezer to see what we had for dehydrated meals, and we had not quite a serving left of the pasta with like marinara and ground turkey, and not quite a full serving of some chili, so I figured I'd mix those two together, and then I added some dehydrated veggies. So that should be tasty, kind of a chili pasta. We're going a little fusion. My water did finish filtering. It's still going to be this color. We'll probably have a little bit of a creek taste to it, but it is still safe to drink. And tonight it's getting boiled as well as filtered, so it'll be double safe. Oh, and I need to get my DEET. There's quite a bit of mosquitoes out. Not really sure what time I'm gonna eat dinner. If it is still light out when I'm done and I'm able to go to the creek to do dishes, I will. Otherwise, I'll probably use some of my clean water tonight just to wash this out, and then probably get more clean water in the morning, go down to the creek and restock. I definitely like camping right next to a water source for that reason, because it makes things a lot easier. All right, have everything submerged in the water. It might be a little too much water. I'll just cook it off if it is. My goal is that I'll be able to cook over the fire. I'm just gonna leave that until we're ready. Okay, now it's time for some DEET, and then we can collect firewood. It's almost 5 o'clock. And I'm starting to hear some thunder, so I just moved all my personal items under my tarp. I have not set up my hammock yet. Maybe I should. I might just wait. I'm probably just gonna wait to set up my hammock then, and if I need to, I can hang out under my tarp to eat. Not an ideal situation. I'll have to be really careful and not get food anywhere. And I'll still clean my dishes. I'll just have to do it out in the rain if I need to. I have my rain jacket. I'm hoping that it's just some passing thunder and we don't actually get a storm. Guess we'll find out. Well, it's just started raining. Very light sprinkle. Listening out for some thunder. See if this is going to be an ongoing issue or just a little short sprinkle, and then back to usual. Have everything under my tarp with me. I can kind of hang out here if I need to. Of course, as soon as it starts raining, I have to pee. I collected a bunch of firewood, but it's mostly just sticks off the ground because there really isn't anything else. I have a pretty good sized pile, so I can definitely have a fire, but probably not one that I can cook on because it's not big enough stuff to create any kind of coals or real lasting heat. So I'll probably have to use my stove to cook my dinner. But I'm just going to let it keep soaking until I'm hungry and I actually want to eat it, so that hopefully it'll be just a quick heat it up and I don't have to use a ton of fuel. I have plenty of fuel for this trip, but I don't know. I like to be very cautious with my use. It is literally barely sprinkling. And the nice thing with these pine, like spruce forests, is that they're really open, but the canopy is usually pretty dense. So even when I could hear the rain, I felt maybe like 3 drops before I came in here. I thought maybe it would amp up, but it seems to have quickly died down. Hopefully that's the last of it. We got the thunderstorm that we were promised, and it has been raining for probably an hour. Decided to make my food under my tarp next to my hammock. Got a little wet, but everything's drying out, so should be fine. Hopefully it stops soon. Had a pretty big thunderstorm last night, and then it rained. And then I think it stopped raining, but the water continued to drip down from the trees. And then I think it rained on and off all night, and the water's still dripping. So everything is wet. Wet, wet, wet. I'm gonna eat breakfast and get going. Have some neighbors in the campsite. Really nice guys. Had a lot of aches this morning. Feeling a little dehydrated. Headache. Shoulders hurt. Hips hurt. I got some blisters on my feet that hurt. I still have to dress those before I go. I don't know how effective it's going to be because I do have a pair of dry socks, but my shoes are completely soaked and caked in mud. And I think I have another half mile or so, maybe a little more, of swamp to get through before I get to dry trail. And even if I wait and change into my dry socks once I get to the dry trail, my shoes are still wet, so I don't know how helpful that will be. It's going to be just a day of being wet, I guess. I'm set up under my tarp next to my hammock. I could take the hammock down and have a little more space, but I've made this work. I'm doing a bag of oatmeal again this morning. And then my instant coffee pre-mixed with milk and sugar. Last night I had my mix of pasta and chili. It was really good. And then I also had a hot chocolate, like a backpacking creme brulee dessert. It was not good, if I'm honest. I did not enjoy it. I ate it because I didn't know what else to do with it once I made it. It just was like, it had like the sugar, like the creme brulee sugar, but it was just like overly sweet and got stuck in your teeth. And then the pudding itself didn't really have any flavor aside from just like sweet and sticky. So, yeah, didn't love that. I definitely needed the calories. Walked about 8 miles yesterday. Probably have another 5 today. That's with the assumption that I don't get lost. It's one thing about this place. The lack of trail markers, really, and then all the side trails, and then here with like the whole normal trail being flooded out.
It's easy to get lost and turn around. So bring a map, bring GPS, check it often. I developed a few blisters yesterday, probably because my feet were wet. So they get like really fragile. Let's see. I don't know how well you can see. My second toe here has a pretty big one right here. It's very tender. There's a few different things you can use. I'm just going to use some kinesio tape. I find this kind of does well to act like a second layer of skin. A lot of people use moleskin. I just happen to have this, and it works well for me. Just basically gonna kind of keep it tight and wrap it around. Again, I don't know how well this will work if my feet are just going to get soaked again, but I figured it's worth the try. The other thing I wanted on my first aid kit was my meds. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to take, kind of do the same combo from before. This wet weather makes it really hard to get motivated. I'm not excited. Looks like my oatmeal's almost done though. Late start today. It is already 10:30 and I am just hitting the trail. I think I have about 4 or 5 miles. So it's going to be probably a late afternoon getting back to the car. Hopefully it doesn't take me that long, but realistically 4 miles will probably take. Yesterday I did 8 miles in about 8 hours. So it'll take me 4 hours maybe. I know that's not great numbers, but like I said, I'm slow. I stop and I take pictures of things and videos, and it is what it is. All right, so not exactly on the Dobbins Grade Trail. I am a little up from it, and I'm hoping that it connects to Beaver View from this little side trail. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go down into the mud. I really don't want to go down into the mud. So fingers crossed this connects. Otherwise, I might have to do a little backtracking, and of course that adds more time and distance. So we'll see how it goes. Had difficulty shutting my brain off on this trip. Actually been like having to focus on my breathing so as to not think about, I don't know, everything. Work, life. Get songs stuck in my head. I get just so much noise.
trying to be out here and enjoy myself and just getting lots of intrusive thoughts instead. It's a funny thing. You can come to a place where you escape life, but your mind somehow finds a way to bring it with you. I think that's why I've had trouble sleeping, honestly, because my brain won't shut off. Has this happened to you? You're out here backpacking, out in the wild, alone, nothing but the sound of the trees and the birds, and yet you have a song stuck in your head, or thoughts about work, or that conversation you had a week ago that you wish you could have had differently. Who knows, whatever's on your mind. How do you get rid of that and enjoy where you are? Love to hear your thoughts. I'm going to try to focus on the sound of the birds now. Enjoy where I am. Blueberry break. That was unexpected. Cool. I know it's just a deer. Hey, but any wildlife sighting is exciting to me, especially out here. It's not like seeing a deer on the side of the road. You're like seeing them where they thrive. Oh, cool. Good day. Almost at the end of the trip. Decided to stop at the creek and have a snack. Not that I'm hungry, just that I want to extend my time out here a little bit, I think. Drink it all in one more time. The sun's out, the grass is drying, the ground's still pretty muddy, but it's turning into a beautiful day. Just hate to leave when it's so perfect out, you know? This place is really beautiful. I can see why everyone thinks it's so special. Guess I should get going. It's funny, I'm just now starting to find that peace I've been searching for all weekend. Somewhere out on the fields and on the Beaver View Trail. Started to find my mind a little bit more quiet. A little bit better able to enjoy the scenery around me. Certainly would feel good to stay another night, but reality beckons. This means I'll have to try to do a longer trip next time.